Here we go. All right, we are live. Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah, and I lead International Good Deeds Day together with K9. We are really excited to kick off this mini-series of Facebook Live interviews. We're going to be having conversations with our partners around the world about the work that they're doing during the coronavirus pandemic, how their community work has pivoted, and we're really just going to get into the nitty-gritty of how we're all dealing with the situation right now. So without further ado, let's get rolling. Today, I'm speaking with Penelope Jean Hayes. She is the author of the book, The Magic of Viral Energy, and you may have also seen her participating in the Doing Good from Home Challenge on March 29th. She was the one meditating for global health and wellness of Mother Earth. So Penelope, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. So good to be here and to see everybody all around the world. Nice to see all of the partners.
It's great to have some FaceTime with you. This is very exciting for us. I'd love to just start off with hearing from you on what does a day of quarantine currently look like for you right now?
Right. So, my work is done mostly from home anyway. So I have an advantage maybe over some other people who have had a lot of changes. As an author, I do a lot of writing. So there's a lot of, doing this at the computer and telephone calls and things like that. And I also do interviews on a regular basis. So this is kind of normal for me in some ways. But when the whole pandemic was just breaking, I was actually on tour. I was on book tour for my book, The Magic of Viral Energy. And so we had to cut the tour short. So that was a big deal to be on tour and to kind of have to like pack everything up and go home. And I actually recall being at a bookstore doing a live signing event when it was almost that day. Like we can all remember where there was, one day it wasn't really that big of a deal. And then the next day it was, this awareness of, well, do I shake people's hands when I see them at this event? Like I'm there for them. Do I, like how close do we get? And we didn't really know what all those rules were at that time. So it was one of those interesting days. And we just were kind of like, okay, well, we're not going to touch or shake hands, and then it was like this kind of, fear started spreading, and we kind of packed up the event early and went home. And at the time we were all over the place. We were in Tennessee and different areas. And we went home where I live in Southern Florida. I live in Naples, Florida. So an average day now is just, a lot less of those opportunities. I had to cancel a lot of events, and I had some other big events and book signings. So, it's nice to have a FaceTime live like this and to be able to start using the technologies that have been there, and we haven't necessarily been using them. And now it's this initiation by fire that we have to find out quickly how to use these technologies.
Yeah, absolutely. It's as we've been forced to self-isolate, we're finding these different ways to connect, whether it's FaceTime or Zoom or other creative ways. I just want to make sure there you're back now. We lost you for a second. So perfect.
Okay.
And I
There's
love
the technology we were talking
exactly.
about.
And I love your beautiful portrait and Good Deeds Day
Yes,
circle
well,
next
you.
to you. Beautiful.
Thank you. I painted this, so I have the rights to actually use this as a backdrop. So yeah, there it is.
Lovely.
I thought we'd bring some joy into this situation today and try to brighten things up. But yeah.
Absolutely.
And my husband's now working from home.
So that's the two of you at home working together side by side.
Right. So that's the unusual part. That's sort of the difference to what was normal. It has it's been really nice, actually. I think for some people it might be more anxiety around that, but I think for us we're going to miss it when he has to go back to the office and we don't get to spend that time together and to see each other from across the room. We've set an office up for him in our living room, and we could have done it in the guest bedroom, but we kind of wanted to be in the same space. So my office is in the open area of our home, and his office is now on the other side of the room. And it's kind of nice to see him, but it has been, there's those phone calls where we each, maybe step into the other room or step outside. And so it's been, we're learning, everybody around the world is learning how to really, respect each other's space and how to live through this and do it well. So it can be challenging at times, but I think it's an opportunity for some people. And I think we're going to actually miss some aspects of this.
I think so too. I think that it's, right now everyone's excited to just get back into the office and get back to everyday routines, but there is some comfort of being home with family and loved ones and spending a lot more time together.
There is, we have to look at the silver linings. So this situation, there's really nothing good about it. You can't say that um, you don't want to say there's an upside to it, but we as people try to always find the silver lining. That's something that we
Mhm.
do rather well. We try to find, the meaning, the greater meaning. Why did this happen? Or at least what can we do with this opportunity? Can we make lemonade from lemons? Is there, something we can garner from that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a time where we're also forced to just pause and reflect. And it's something, I mean, you've written about self examination, I know, on your blog. I'd love to hear about how you've reflected and what's really just come up for you during this time.
Oh gosh, yes. I think for a lot of people, there has been changes that we didn't even expect. Myself personally, and also friends and family that I've talked to them, there there are some people that aren't necessarily happy in their jobs, and all of a sudden they're going, wow, like if really time was short, what would I be doing with my life? And so I think a lot of people are looking at, how can I really be happy in life? Because we realize when something like this happens, what really matters, it tends to get your priorities in order very quickly. When anything like this happens, when we're faced with anything that's kind of scary, we start to say, really, how do you prioritize things? So speaking just for myself, prioritizing family, I've been calling my parents every day. They live in another country, so I really don't get to see them very often. It's been maybe 7 months since I saw my parents,
Oh,
2 years
wow.
since I saw my nieces and nephew. That's a
Wow,
long time.
that's tough.
It's a long time. So we have been doing the Zoom calls with the family, and a cousin of mine is on the call too. And, it's this opportunity for all of us. And again, just speaking for myself to say, wow, as you said, the pause, it's like we're so busy. We're so busy, fulfilling our dreams and doing our work. And, it's good work that we do. And we think this is really important. But what's also important is to make sure that you have that balance in life to spend the time with family. And even if that time is over, a FaceTime or a Zoom call, but I really enjoy calling my parents every day. They're not necessarily up on all the technologies and they're not all video calls, but just to get on the phone with them. I go for a daily walk around my neighborhood. That's my time to call them. And we all look forward to that, to have this kind of structure where there's no structure, to look at what can you count on. So some of these are really good takeaways to
Mhm.
keep.
That's nice. I love it. Calling your parents almost every day, going for walks. Are there any other little or bigger things that you're doing or you're incorporating, or you and your husband?
Yeah, no, it's been kind of fun. So I think it was 2 days ago. It was kind of our lunch break, which doesn't have an exact time, but somewhere around maybe 1 o'clock. And I thought I'm going to make him a little menu. So I, I just like if he went to a restaurant at lunchtime. So it was he had the choice of a salad or a hummus plate or spaghetti, which was leftovers from the night before, and little boxes for him to check. And so he checked hummus plate. And I brought him a hummus plate. Now it was fun, it was cute, but also we had a date night last
Oh,
Saturday. So our regular life, we go out quite a bit. We go out on the weekends. We love going out for dinner. We love doing happy hours, getting all dressed up and going out is something that we like to do together. So now it's like, you're always in the yoga pants, just kind of hanging out. So we got ready, we got dressed up. We had made dinner ahead of time, so it was sort of ready. Set the dining room table, which is kind of unusual too, to eat in the dining room, the two of us. And then we got in the car and we went for a drive. just around. We actually were able to drive by the beach, which is closed, but it was nice to be able to see it, even if from the car,
Mm-hmm.
distancing. And then we came back home and kind of walked into our home. Like we were walking into a restaurant and we had this, very elegant dinner, bottle of wine. It was really nice. And so for us,
Aw.
so I call that the meet cutes. So I think, the advice to other people is, let's get creative. We've had to
Mm-hmm.
pivot with our work and how we do work, but how can we pivot and get creative with our relationships and with, making this as memorable as it can be in all the good ways. So, in my book, The Magic of Viral Energy, I talk about viral energy. And what
Mm-hmm.
that is contagious energy. And that's the good stuff and the bad stuff. So, when we're talking about this virus, there's the virus, but there's also something else that's contagious, and that's the energy. And so, it's the energy of fear, the energy of anxiety, or conversely, the energy of love, the energy of kindness, all of the things that people are doing for each other, checking on their neighbors, getting creative and pivoting in ways that we had never really thought of before. And what can we do for someone else? And we're just seeing, the best of people coming out in this situation. And it's been wonderful in that aspect.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of viral energy, which you spoke about in your book, how can people be, mindful of the energy they're putting out, or mindful of the
Mhm.
nature of stress and fear that is circulating, whether it's, through news or movies or what's trending on Netflix? How can people just be mindful and center themselves?
Hannah, the word is the word you used. It's the mindfulness. And I think that sometimes we don't really consider what mindfulness is, and it's an awareness. So being aware of what you're taking into your space. So viral energy, the energy is our creation power. So this energy is the stuff of life, right? It's the thing that connects all of us. It's this vibration, this frequency. It's a metaphysics philosophy, but we've heard it before. It's actually quite common vernacular these days to talk about these things. And it's this binding force, this energy, but it's also our personal power. So when we're depleted, when our energy is sort of hopped up with all this negativity, with the fear and anxiety, from that is what you create your life. So that's your fuel. So
Mhm.
from those ingredients is what you create, the work that you do, the hobbies that you do, your playtime, your relationships. They're all kind of built and created through this personal power, this personal energy. So we do want to be mindful. And with viral energy, the concept is that energy is not just attractive, which is like attracts like. So this attracts this. This is like attracts like. Energy is also picked up through osmosis, and it's a really interesting thing that we need to be mindful of. So osmosis is you're just marinating in it, right? You soak it in because we have this permeable energy field. So what are we soaking in?
Mhm.
In this new climate, and we know it's vastly different than how life was before. So it's the news, and we want to be informed. And I like having the news on in the background. And so I take in a lot of news too, but I'm also conscious of and mindful of, what I take in. When they start, kind of infighting, I might change the channel, turn it
Mhm.
off. You also want to just make sure you have that balance. So we're in this time of you want to be just kind of glued to that news so that you are apprised of what's going on, but there's a way to do that and to balance that out. So it really is just being mindful. And then there's other things, we like to play jazz music in the house. I do that even before this pandemic. Just kind of, set an environment, light a candle, play the jazz music. What can you do to make your environment one that if you really knew that you were marinating in the energy around you, what
Mhm.
would you do differently? You know, who would you get on the phone with, the person who's positive or the person who's always bringing you down? So it's knowing those, personal boundaries and being mindful.
I love that. That's a great, I think, question that we should all ask ourselves, or what are some of the things that what can I do right now to be mindful of this? I mean, like you said, we could light a candle or choose to call someone that, is more positive than talk about, the news cycle or whatnot. And when we are watching the news to, because we want to know what's happening in the world and is there a cure or what's going on, to just be conscious of that.
Yeah, and it's all about balance. I mean, like I said, I like to watch the news too, and I like to kind of know, when you wake up in the morning, sort of what's going on now, and that's okay, as long as you do know that, how very important you are and how very important your energy is for everybody, for the people that you're sharing your home with, your spouse, your children, to be able to know that, what you're giving off is contagious. It's this contagious. Laughter is infectious, a smile is contagious, these things, and they also work for those negatives. So to be aware of that is extremely important.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have a meditation practice that you use to help
I
you with this?
do. Actually, when International Good Deeds Day was in full effect, and we were all meeting in our places and doing our events, the event that I was doing was a global viral contemplation. So, in the work that I do, one of the main things that I teach and advocate is to meditate, but also when people can meditate, you can use the word contemplation. Some people use the word prayer. So there's different, meditation, and we'll talk about that too. But meditation can be different things for different people. There's not one way to do it. But the idea of a global viral contemplation for Mother Earth was what my Good Deeds Day event was. And we were going to have several hundreds, maybe thousands of people gathered in a park, but also around the world, which we could do virally. So the idea with that is to set intention. So when you set intention, again, it's this energy that goes out into the world. So our thoughts are energy vibrations, and that can be measured. That is what intention is. So when we're just still and mindful, and a meditation can be, in this chair or sitting in your garden or while you're in the shower. Some people, meditate in the shower, which is actually quite productive. And whatever that is to you, sit on the beach, whatever that is to you. And the idea is that anybody can do that. So
Mhm.
whether you have certain limitations physically, regardless of whether you're at work at the time, maybe you're in a cubicle working in a busy office, or wherever you are, or whatever age you are, whatever access you have to, whatever your financial status is, everybody can do that. So we're looking for ways, especially now, how can we feel helpless. We want to have
Mhm.
some control over something. So, my message is this is something that you can do. You can set mindfulness and intention for our planet, for planetary wellness, for the wellness of Earth's population, but also for Mother Earth herself, for our environment. And that was the initial idea, like actually for my Good State Deeds Day event, was mindfulness for Mother Earth and our environment. And we can extrapolate that now, especially now, to global wellness for everyone. So yes, I do. I meditate on a regular basis. One of my mentors from many years ago had told me, you need to be meditating every day. This is before I became an author, and I was a writer. I wrote for magazines, but I had this dream. I wanted to be an author, and I wanted to follow this path. I mean, you could call it a spiritual path, but my path of purpose. And this mentor said to me, you need to be meditating every day, Penelope. If you want to do this, you need to be meditating every day. And so I did. I started doing
Wow.
that, and it was so powerful in changing many things in my life, because when you're doing that, you're creating this stillness and silence, but it's more than that. You're kind of opening up to this pool of universal wisdom. And I do have to say that when I go out and I meditate in the forest, I then can just start writing. And actually, this book was written that way. It was written through almost a process of meditation and then writing, meditation and writing. And you will find, to just try it for yourself, you'll find how creative you become when you
Mhm.
start doing that. So it is an excellent practice.
How would you recommend for people who might be new to meditation? How would you recommend that someone get started? I mean, of course, there's lots of
Yeah,
apps out today and YouTube, but how would you recommend a newbie get started?
such a great question. I think the most important thing is to do it your way. So to not think that there is a certain way to meditate. When I first started meditating many years ago, I did actually go to some meditation classes, and it was, where there was someone it was in a class with other people, and the teacher brings you through a meditation, and through the seven chakras of the body until, and it was lovely. And I learned from that, but that's not the meditation I do today. I do it my way. And I do believe that you can meditate in many different ways. Meditation sometimes is just to contemplate. The way I do it is more of a contemplation. So people find it really hard to get into that space of don't think anything, don't have any thoughts, don't think anything. That's how you have to meditate. I kind of disagree with that. I think that meditation, for me, I set an intention as my meditation. So I would say today I'm going to meditate for the wellness of our world population. And the meditation is to hold a to envision, really, to hold a positive image of what you want to see. So the ultimate outcome. And now you're sending out that vibration into the world. Imagine if everybody did that. Imagine if we could all, millions of people at the same time or as a daily practice, set out this positive intention, this light energy image of the world we would like to see, whether that's, the geopolitical climate or the environmental issues or this pandemic and for wellness. So that's the way I do it. And I would just say to do what works for you. So it could be while you're taking a walk, it could be while you're in the shower. I know I said that, but it's interesting that moving water inspires thought. It's almost a conductor. So a lot of people will find this phenomena. You're in the shower, you get ideas. It happens to me all the time. I have to sometimes keep a pen and paper outside of the shower and I jump out and I write something down because, there's something meditative about that, sort of the cadence of the water flowing. So whatever works for you is your meditation.
I love it. Just find, your place, whether it's in the shower or next to your garden or outside or in your bedroom, and set an intention and close your eyes for a few minutes.
Yeah, it's just being intentional. And some people could say a prayer is a meditation. And there's many different prayers. So there's prayers where maybe you want to say asking. This meditation might be a prayer of gratitude. So that can also be a meditation. A prayer of gratitude is a meditation. So your meditation can just be thinking of all of those things that you're grateful for. And that also is that same practice, whatever works for you.
I think especially in light of the virus, going around the world now, is if you haven't started, a really great time to meditate or even to just practice gratitude, because as we're all worried about, family, friends, and the health of the world, it's really easy to get caught up in that and to worry and fear, and to bring it back to a moment into yourself. I think now is really the best time to do that.
It is. And recently I found out that the parent of one of my best girlfriends has coronavirus and COVID-19 and is in intensive care on a ventilator.
Oh,
and
gosh.
When I found that out, I have to say, Hannah, it was like, it kind of flips your world upside down, and it made this whole thing very different than, it's not just like the things we're talking about are, we're trying to get through this together, but there are people who are losing their lives, losing family members. It's so real and it is scary, and there is a palpable fear and anxiety, and it's real. And so I think what we're talking about, the message is, how can we offset that? How can we be looking after ourselves, our self-care, but the people around us too, to do what we can to offset that, because it is a real thing. And there is a depression, if you will, that comes with that, an overwhelmment that comes with that. And this is just the time that we're living in. So to not ignore or to pretend that it's not happening, but to, what can you do to add light to light? What can you do? And that's what you do with Good Deeds Day and with Good Deeds Day International. And as you always say, it's not just a day, it's to teach people that mindfulness, that every day can be a Good Deeds Day, and to add light to the light of the world is what you do. And so that's why I love what you guys do so much.
Oh, well, thank you. And we're really happy that you're part of Good Deeds Day. And I also saw on your social media that you've gotten involved in a certain outdoor activity.
Oh, yes, gardening.
Tell us, how did you get into that? What
Oh my
prompted
goodness.
that and what are you doing?
It's been so fun. So my next series of books is called Do Unto Earth, not yet published, but we have a mini book coming out in about 10 days, which is kind of a little baby, if you will, of the Do Unto Earth series, which will be a larger series. And this mini book is coming out that is, gosh, what is the title that we chose? It is the Likely Future is the title of the mini book, in about 10 days on Amazon and all the places. But that is, it's in the Do Unto Earth series, we talk about a lot of things, and it's very much environmentally based and also a spiritual journey. And one of the things that I've been writing about is gardening, and this return to getting our hands and feet in the earth, and a return to the lessons and the ways of our ancestors, our grandmothers and our grandfathers, and First Nations peoples, and that this is the way to heal a lot of our environmental issues, is to have this return to old. So keeping the new that is good, but also a return to old in a lot of ways of how we look at our community and how we kind of procure our food even. And so gardening is something that I've been writing about and too busy to actually do, even though my ancestors were farmers. My grandmother and grandfather always had a glorious large garden. We lived next door to them growing up. And so it's in my blood to do that. And yet I hadn't done it. We actually have quite a decent sized property, and I never got into gardening. It's just silliness, just silly. And so with the coronavirus and the stay at home, I'm like, well, now this is the time. So, you know, and anybody can do it if you feel like you want to do that, but there's so many benefits from gardening. It is a meditation also, but it's also empowering. The idea of, in this global health crisis, when the global food chain and global supply chain has been interrupted, the idea and the empowerment that I can create my own food. And that's where it started for me. So a month ago, when we were concerned about, are we going to be able to get things from the grocery store, I'm like, that's it. I'm doing that garden now. And so my husband built these garden boxes. And so we didn't want to actually, you know, make a large garden. I just wanted to kind of start small. And I also wanted to show other people that whether you're living in an apartment and all you have is a balcony, or even just a window, if you have a window with light coming in, you can grow, you can have many small pots, you know, that sort of thing. So we have the many small pots and we have these garden boxes, and it's been so fun. So in 3 or 4 weeks, what was started as little seeds are now quite big and beautiful, and it's nice to tend to that. So I water it every morning, water it again every night. And my husband laughs because we're finding out I do have a bit of a green thumb, which I didn't think I did. So it's been really fun. Do you want me to show you some of it? I can take you for a
Yes.
walk.
Oh, that
All
would be
right,
great.
let's do
Love
it.
to see.
Yay, fun. Okay. So pardon me, everybody who are watching all over the world, while I grab my tripod here. So this won't be perfect, but we're doing it from home. So hang on.
That's right. It's a home video.
Okay, we're gonna go for a little walk out of my home studio and down the hall. Let's see, we're gonna see my husband, Bert, who's working from home. Hi, Bert.
Let's all say hi, Bert. Hi,
Can
Bert.
we see Bert? Hi, Bert. Bert, can I ask you to be our cameraman for a moment? All right, here we go. Hi, can you see me, Hannah? Okay.
Yes.
We'll just make sure I'm in the frame, just a little bit lower, Bert. All right, I want to show you guys a few of these really clever things. You learn online a lot of things, right? So if you don't know a ton about gardening, you don't have to. Just have a look at some of these things. Did you know that, we'll do a little tight shot here on this avocado pit, that you can take the avocado. So all these things that you thought were throwaways are not throwaways. You put these cute little toothpicks all around it and set it in water halfway like that, so it doesn't flip upside down. And it will actually start growing an avocado plant out of there. Isn't that neat?
Oh, wow. Very cool. And so what, do you plant that afterwards, or?
Yes, yes. You can plant that in a little pot and it'll be like a pretty little plant, if nothing else. I mean, if you never intend to grow it into a whole tree, it will still look pretty and it's just fun to do. And did you know that potatoes, all of these little tiny eyes, will turn into their own potato?
No,
So
I
you
didn't know that.
cut the potato, yeah, you cut the potato up in every little spot that has an eye on it, these little nubs, becomes its own potato. So one potato now is 12 potatoes. So you just allow it to sit for a while and grow these little things. And then
Oh,
you just
how
plant it
cool.
deep in the dirt. Google it. And this is, I think this is the coolest thing. So these carrot tops, this is the part that we normally throw out, just the little end of the carrot. You
Hmm.
soak those, you cut it off, and instead of throwing it out, you soak them in water. And within a few, try to get that in the shot, within a few days, it starts growing this green out of the top, and you plant that too. And it becomes a carrot plant. Let's go outside. I want to show you the boxes too.
Oh, fun. Oh, nice tour.
Yay.
Oh, beautiful day out.
Oh my
Sunny
goodness, it's
Florida.
raining. This is so funny.
That's
Do you know
that's
that
what it looks like when it's raining. Wow.
it's
It
so
looks
funny.
sunshiny when it's raining in Florida. It's amazing.
Everybody, we are in southern Florida. I have not seen rain in 3, 4, 5 months. I'm serious. I have not seen rain. And the one day I'm going to show you guys the outdoor gardens, it's raining, but we'll go anyway to the edge and we'll show you from afar.
Okay.
Gonna have my handsome cameraman follow here, please. Isn't this so funny? So you can see the boxes in the background, right?
Yeah, we can see those. Oh, wow.
Actually, it's not. I'm gonna do it for you guys. We're gonna go out in a little bit of rain. So yeah, I wanted to show you these. Yeah, you're doing a great job, Bert. So Bert built these for me to keep the bugs out and also to keep rabbits out and our kitty cats who like to dig. But these are 3 weeks worth of, arugula and salad mix and lettuce. Isn't that neat?
Oh, very cool.
And then look at these, Hannah and everybody else. These fairly large tomatoes
Wow.
already, and peppers and beets and all kinds of good stuff. We had some
Peppers and
herbs in there.
beets.
Yeah, everything. We've got mint. We have, let's see, oregano. We have basil. We have chives. All of this.
Oh my
This is
gosh.
all 3 or 4 weeks growth. Isn't that amazing?
That's
Love
incredible.
it.
That's a nice salad you have right there.
Yes, thank you. This is actually usually where I meditate in the garden. And it's a little bit wet right now. But why don't we just go back? Do you want to? We'll just take it back. We'll take it back
Perfect.
in. All right.
Perfect. Thank you for that lovely tour. You certainly have a green thumb.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. We're doing so far so good. Just
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. You're growing all kinds of great things outside there. And I love your meditation nook.
Thank you. It's so funny because when we started this FaceTime, it was sunny and beautiful out, and I don't know where this rain came from, but we'll go back to the studio. I'm glad I got to show you the garden though.
Yeah, that was really nice. I'm sure everybody enjoyed seeing that. And I think there's definitely a few things to learn. I mean, I know I'm going to definitely try the carrot top thing. I don't really have much of a green thumb, but how hard could it be to do that? So that's something I'm personally going to try and be curious to
Thanks,
hear.
Bert.
Thanks, Bert. I'll be curious to hear for those that are watching with us, if anyone has gotten into gardening, or if there's something that Penelope mentioned that you want to try, like I want to try with the carrots. So please share with us.
Oh, it's so fun. And as I've been posting these things on my social media, it has been catching on. So talk about viral. So now my mother has been planting all of hers, and my dad built her boxes very similar to ours. And my sister's done a garden, actually quite a large garden in her backyard. And this is all in the last couple of weeks, just
Oh,
by
wow.
people hearing what other people are doing. So I think it's good. So we'll see how many other people want to get into gardening. A return to old. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I agree. I mean, it is very meditative to garden and to use your hands and just connect with the earth. And there's nothing like growing your own herbs and sprinkling it over some salads or, whatever you're cooking. I mean, that's such a great feeling.
It really is. And it goes even beyond that. You think about what it teaches children.
Mhm.
So a lot of the generations now, the recent generations, food comes from the grocery store, right? So that's what they're used to. Food comes from the grocery store. So there is something nice about when you watch your parents garden, and it's a family activity too, to do that together, to tend to the vegetables together, and to actually, show children where food really comes from. And I think that that goes a really long way when we're talking about those things like long-term sustainability and the environment, to really connect with what is this planet, what is Earth. And so I think there's a lot of long-term and deep benefits to it, and I've been really enjoying it.
I absolutely agree with you. We are nearing the end of our session now, but talking about the planet and Mother Earth and, having green thumbs, I'm wondering if you'd like to lead us in a moment of meditation for planetary wellness.
Oh, that would be so great. Thank you, Hannah. What a wonderful idea. So let's do that. I
Okay,
will
great.
bring everybody into a meditation together. And if you could do this at home, um, not if you're driving, but if you're at home, everybody please participate together, because the idea is to virally spread good. And that's what Good Deeds Day is, and Good Deeds Day International. And the whole spirit of Good Deeds Day is to spread viral light, viral goodness. And this is that opportunity. So I'm going to just kind of bring us into a meditation, and then we'll have, how about we do 1 minute, Hannah, and you can keep time for us.
Perfect.
So I'll just ask everybody to kind of be still for a moment. And if you'd like to close your eyes, that would be a great idea. And just kind of just breathe, be aware of your breath, and let's all kind of just relax for a moment. And now the idea is to think about positive thoughts for our planet, for planetary wellness, planetary healing, to think, to send out the thoughts of the best case scenario for planet Earth at this time, to think thoughts of love for your family, love for your friends, gratitude for everything, even in these hard times, what do we have? And to just think about that for a moment, and to hold those thoughts, to hold those intentions, to hold intentions of being healthy, intentions of being well. And we'll just be really nice and quiet for a full minute and just sit together in that light vibration.
Penelope, that was lovely. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Oh, that was so nice. So nice. Thank you, everybody, for doing that together with us. And I just want to mention, in case people don't know, do you know why people do this when they're meditating? Do this or this?
No, why? What's the reason behind that?
These are tuners. So think of an antenna. Think about a radio antenna, that little antenna that you might have had on an old car or something like that, or an obelisk, a temple spire. All of these are energy tuners. They're antennas. So when you do this during meditation, the idea is to help tune in the energy. That's all it is. Fun little
Lovely.
tip.
Yeah, great to know. I mean, we kind of just instinctually do this when we meditate, and nobody really talks about why. So thank you for
Yeah.
sharing. Great
You're
tip.
welcome.
Now, for those that are watching or that will watch later, we're spanning all kinds of time zones with Good Deeds Day around the world. So people might be watching this tonight or later. Where can people find you? I mean, where are you? I mean, I found you on Facebook sharing the picture of your garden, but where can people find you and read?
Sure. I think the best place is to go to one of my websites. And of course, all the social media is linked from there. So the main website is onepenelope.com. So it's the number one Penelope.com, Penelope. And from that, which is my main website, I have a number of other initiatives. So I have something called the Viral Energy Institute, and is an educational and research facility where we actually study viral energy, which is a study called viral enology. It's an actual field of study. So there's the Viral Energy Institute. There's also the new series of books called Do Unto Earth, and it has its own dedicated website, dountoearth.com, un with a U. And we all know, right, the golden rule, do unto earth as you would have earth do unto you. So dountoearth.com, and right there on the homepage, some of these tips that we've been talking about today are on that homepage of dountoearth.com. So some of those things that people might want to think about as they try to get through this stay at home time and to do it well and to be happy doing it. So I think going there, and then from onepenelope.com, there's all my social media, the Instagram, all the Facebooks, Twitter. I'm most often on Twitter, but all of the social media. My Twitter handle is at Penelope Jean, and we'll see you there. I hope people reach out. I'd love
Perfect.
to see everybody, so we'll connect on Facebook, Good Deeds Day Facebook, and thank you.
That's right. Well, thank you. And everyone, this is your invitation to connect with Penelope on Twitter and her social media channels. Don't be shy, say hi. And I really encourage you to go to her website and take a look at her blog and read on some of the tips that she's sharing. And also go to the Good Deeds Day website. On our blog, we're also sharing about all kinds of ways people are doing good right now during this COVID-19 situation, and lots of ideas in which you can also just do good from home in small ways that are really easy and that take 5 minutes, to being involved in larger projects. And I think you might find some great inspiration there. So thank you very much, Penelope, for being part of this mini series that we're debuting. This is our first one, and
So exciting.
very exciting. And for everybody else, tune in. We're going to be having 1 to 2 conversations a week with different partners around the world, talking about various ways in which they're getting involved and ways that they're doing good from home. So stay tuned to our Facebook, and hope everyone has a lovely day or evening wherever we're catching you. And so
Thank
thank
you,
you.
everybody. Thank you for giving us some of your time and sharing that together. And thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Kanan. And thank you, Sherry Arison, who started this whole thing. And it's just a pleasure to be in everybody's company today. Thank you.
Amazing. Well, thank you, Penelope, for your time.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.